Okay, so we go to another story that's going to be about this year's Oscars. Dad says here, I love TCM because they are unedited films in the original format and story. Nothing is edited in sensitivity or changed for the times. You're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So there's another channel out there that I love. I absolutely love. It's called IFC. IFC is Independent Film Channel, and they do not edit for content. They do not edit for time, and they do not edit for language. Yes, there are commercials in there every now and then, but they are few and far between. But they let the film run as it was um, deserved, as it was supposed to be. Um, I mean, that's I love the. Let's just take a movie like The Departed. I love the movie The Departed, but I won't watch it on AMC because you can't do it. The ADR is so bad, and they don't care about that. They don't care about that, right? They want to have it run as it was normally done. So I agree. Okay, so let's move to a story that is going to be affecting next year's Oscars. And I have been saying this for a while. And maybe the Academy listened to me. I don't know. I would like to think so. But so they finally made a decision about certain something. And it was about Netflix and the Oscars. So, as everybody knows, we now have a 45-day window for any theatrical film, right? Take any movie you want, it's in theaters for 45 days. What Netflix, and this is why I don't like Netflix, and this is why I will not pay for Netflix. What Netflix has chosen to do over the past 5 years, okay, is they have chosen to put a film in theaters and then take it out after a week. Whether you go to, you know, more recently, The Irishman, or more recently Glass Onion, okay, Knives Out. Now, Knives Out, to its credit, had a full theatrical run, okay. The Irishman, and The Irishman got 11 nominations, didn't win one. Anyways, that all being said, one thing I can't stand, okay, and what really rubbed me the wrong way was that Netflix could actually put a movie into theaters for 1 week. And by the way, Glass Onion made $16 million in its first weekend, its only weekend. And then they yanked it. Because they wanted to get subscriptions. And it was a bad move. What you see, okay, you had something like Air come out, okay, and that did huge numbers. And let me be clear, okay? When I say huge numbers, it made back its budget. Okay? It made back its budget. And that movie was an 80 or a 90 million dollar budget. And what ended up happening was, okay, that it ended up making everything back plus more. Now it's on streaming, okay? And as it stands right now, okay, the global take so the movie cost $90 million. Okay, according to IMDb Pro, it cost $90 million. Okay, Amazon gave that a full theatrical release for 45 days. Okay, that made $52.4 million here in the States, and it made $89 million worldwide. So it made its budget back, not to mention all this stuff on DTC, direct to consumer. Not to mention, I'm pretty sure that, and I don't know this to be true or false because I haven't walked in with Best Buy in months, okay? I'm pretty sure you can find that on your local Blu-ray, okay, in your movies. So not only are they making money through Amazon Prime, but they're putting it out for the consumer. But that's what it is. And so they took Glass Onion 1 week and they wanted to remove it to get subscription. We'll never know how many subscriptions they got. Okay. Mind you, this is the same company that, next week is going to be starting the whole password crackdown. Okay. Because they want more subscriptions. That's why I don't like Sarandis. Okay. And that all being said, the Academy of Motion Pictures and Sciences, and Dad, he says, Air is a dark horse best. Yeah, maybe. I mean, we've yet, possibly. Okay, what I'll say is this: I think it's an 8, 9, or 10. I think honestly, if we're gonna sneak, if Air were gonna sneak into Best Picture, it would be an 8, 9, or 10. So that's I could see that though. I wouldn't be shocked, but yeah, possibly, definitely. But the point is that made its budget back. Okay, that made its whole budget back, plus DTC, plus consumer after the fact. That movie turned a profit. Netflix is not looking to turn a profit. All they want are subscriptions, and that's bad business. Okay, because I mean, take a look at something like The Irishman. That cost $150 million to make. You think they actually recouped their money? Come on. Of course not. So, it's one of those things where, sure, it got all those Academy Award nominations, but it was because of the cast. It made, just looking this up now, $159 million budget, $968,853. That's how much The Irishman made, guys. $958,000. Okay, let me get to the story. So, according to the Motion Pictures and Science, okay, they are now going to lengthen the minimum requirement for any release for Best Picture eligibility. Beginning in 2024, films will no longer be eligible for the Best Picture Oscar with a 1-week theatrical release in an approved city. Hallelujah. But will require a lengthier stay in theaters. The Academy of Motion Pictures and Sciences announced on Wednesday. It is a move seemingly to intend to bolster movie theaters and emphasize the differences between work made for the big and small screen. The Academy's Board of Governors earlier this month approved the new requirements, which again will not impact this current Oscar contender. So this will do it the next year. Then I stand corrected. Upon completion of an initial qualifying run, currently defined as 1 week of theatrical release in one of the 6 United States qualifying cities, a film will have to meet the additional theatrical standards for Best Picture eligibility, including an expanded theatrical run of 7 days, consecutive or non-consecutive, in 10 of the top 50 markets in the United States, no later than 45 days after the initial release in 2024. So, for example, take a movie like Maestro. Okay, Maestro is supposed to be coming out in 2024. So that, if they wanted that to be considered for Best Picture, it would have to be released in 6 cities across the country in the United States. So like Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, San Antonio, Denver, and Baton Rouge. Okay. But here's the kicker. It could be no later than 45 days after it was dropped on Netflix. So let's say it dropped, I don't know, June 15th. Okay. They have 45 days from June 15th. Okay. To actually put this in theaters to be eligible. So for the late in the year films with an expansions after January 10th of 2025, distributors must submit release plans for the Academy for verification. Release plans for the late in the year films must include an planned expansion theatrical run, as described above, to be completed no later than January 24th of 2025. Non-United States territory releases can count toward 2 of the 10 markets. Qualifying non-United States markets include the top 15 international theatrical markets plus the home territory for the film. So, meaning that they can basically, it has to be released in 10 markets. Okay, the non territories include 2, okay, like a Guam or what Buenos Aires, probably something like that. Then the international, it has to be put into 15 international markets. I mean, how many countries we have, guys? So it has to have like, plus. So they can't just put this in the 15 territories and say, okay, thank you very much. If it was made here in the United States, it has to be released here in the United States, plus it has to be released in 15 territories. While virtually all releases from the traditional Hollywood studios would meet these requirements, they are more likely to impact the plans and pocketbooks of streamers, indies, and overseas distributors, which typically do not keep films in major cities for quite as long. However, it is understood that stakeholders of all sorts were consulted in arriving by the new requirements. Well, I mean, here's the thing, too. All these companies are publicly traded companies. So an IPO, for example, okay, or initial public offering, is like Netflix. They had to tell their stockholders about this. It was absolutely a necessary thing that they do this. As we do every year, we have been reviewing and assessing our theatrical eligibility requirements for the Oscar. Academy CEO Bill Kramer and Academy President Janet Yang said in a statement, in support of our mission to celebrate, honor the arts and sciences of movie making, it is our hope that this expanded theatrical footprint will increase the visibility of films worldwide and encourage audiences to experience our art form of a theatrical setting. Many of the conversations with industry partners, we feel this evolution will benefit film artists and movie lovers alike. Michael O'Leary, NATO's president, who was actually at CinemaCon this last year, and CEO, said in a statement, on behalf of the men and women who operate movie theaters across the of this nation, NATO applauds the Academy's decision to require nominees for Best Picture to have a more substantial theatrical footprint beginning in 2025. We specifically want to thank Academy CEO Bill Kramer and Academy President Janet Yang for their leadership on this important initiative. The statement continued, this decision recognizes that to be fully appreciated as the art form they truly are, motion pictures must be experienced as intended in a theater full of people on a big screen with state-of-the-art projection, sound, and lighting. The Oscars are recognized by moviegoers around the world as the pinnacle of the artistic accomplishments in movie and motion pictures, and this important step taken by the Academy affirms theatrical exhibition is the keystone of the industry. Simply put, the best movie in the world are best on the big screen. Okay. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Here's the thing. And the reason why they're doing this, guys, is because this film here won 4 Oscars. It won 4 Oscars last year. Now, Best International Film was a walk. That was always going to be given. That was always a given. There was never any doubt about that. Okay. But it did win a couple of Oscars that were pretty unexpected. Okay. And that being said, okay, I think a lot of people got ticked off, and I was one of them, okay, that basically, so it was actually nominated for 8 Oscars, okay? It ended up winning, so it was nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, which it did not win. It was nominated for Best Achievement in Visual Effects, which it did not win. It was nominated for Best Sound, which it did not win. I'm sorry, it was nominated for 9 Oscars. It was nominated for Best Motion Picture of the Year, so Best Picture. It then was nominated for Makeup and Hair. And then the Oscars that it won, okay, was a Best Achievement in Music, so it won Original Score. It won Production Design. It won International Film, like I said, that was a walk, that was a given. And it won cinematography. Here's the thing. When you have a film, okay, that was in theaters for, call it a few weeks, okay, and then it gets pulled, okay, and what ends up happening is that it ends up winning not one, not two, not three, but 4 Oscars. And then you have all of these other people that are busting their asses making all these other films, and they play by the same rules, except Netflix, and they end up walking away with the awards. What you're doing is you're rewarding bad behavior. That's exactly what you're doing. And the thing is, that can't be stood for. Netflix is an outlier. Okay? While they may be the first streamer out there, okay, they are not the only streamer out there. And every single streamer, whether it's Apple, whether it's Amazon, whether it's Hulu if they want to do it, whatever it is, okay, they play by the rules. And I think that this is basically a middle finger to Netflix, as it should be. Ted Sarandos does not know what he's doing. And as a matter of fact, I'm not going to do it, but he actually was, there's an article in the THR today about how they're investing $1 billion in Korean television. While Squid Game was a thing, he basically said the metrics and the numbers and people, the views. And mind you, here's the thing. It's not about the views. It's about people coming back. It's like me. Okay? I love you guys to death. I love that you're here. I love that you come back. But it's not that you come back once, guys. It's you come back again and again and again and again. That's the thing. This whole thing was a big middle finger to Netflix. I wonder what movies would get nominated. I wonder what movies will get nominated for an Oscar this year. I'm hoping Air and Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff. So Dad was actually saying that I think he thinks that Dark Horse or Air is a dark horse. I think he may be right. I think that might be an 8, 9, and 10. Guardians, I could see that visual effects. What I would say is this, Antonius. You have to look at a couple of different factors. One, has a film been nominated before? Okay. Outliers or precursors, as they're called. Okay. Did Guardians get nominated before? If it did, it might have a better chance. Number 2, the people behind the film. You know, whether it's James Gunn for screenplay or Matt Damon or Ben Affleck. Okay. 3, how well did it do at the box office? Now, I'm not saying that's the end-all, be-all, but that's going to have something to do with it. Because at the end of the day, they want people to tune in, and it is a popularity contest. Number 4, what subject is it? What category is it? Okay. If it's best screenplay, does James Gunn get a nomination? So there's a lot of different things there. I could see that, though. But what I'll say is this. This is a good thing. The final thing I'll say is that this is a good thing. This is a good thing done by the Academy. And they needed to do this. And this was a big middle finger to Netflix, and I'm glad they did it. Because now, okay, and this won't start this year, but it'll start next year. Now, moving forward in 2024 and 2025, it will be very interesting to see what Netflix does. Because up until this point, okay, they had just been doing whatever they wanted. Okay? But somebody finally pulled the reins in. Somebody finally said, okay, slow down. Here are the rules from now on. 1, you've got to keep it in theaters longer than a week. 2, it's got to go over internationally to a multitude of different countries. And 3, this is how it's going to be. And that all being said, okay, I think that this is what they needed to do. Now, I will say this 95% of everything, of all these movies, don't have a problem with it. They don't have a problem. They don't have a problem with it. Whether it's going to be Apple, or whether it's going to be Amazon, or whether it's going to be Warner Brothers or Universal, they don't have a problem with it. It's only one little company that they have their little thing in the sandbox. They don't want to play nice with. They don't want to play with others. This is done because of Netflix, as it should have been. And I think people in the industry were sick and tired of having bad behavior rewarded. So I'm glad. I'm fully, totally glad about this. And this is, I've said it before and I'll say it, that's why I won't get Netflix. Plain and simple. I mean, this film here, okay, this was Everything Everywhere All at Once. Won 9 Oscars. It was the closest, okay? It was the closest to winning the Big Five since we've had in 25 years? And you've had close to 24 films nominated for it. Think about that. When I say the Big Five, guys, I mean Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Screenplay, and Best Director. Okay? They swept everything else. The Daniels won Best Director. They won Best Screenplay. Michelle Yeoh won Best Actress. It won Best Picture. If it had had a Best Actor nominee, it would have won the Big Five. That's incredible. So, the previous 2 Guardians were actually nominated for visual effects in Volume 1, especially. Okay, so then there's a chance. There's a good chance then, to your point, there's a good chance it gets nominated. I have no doubt about that then. Then you're probably going to be looking at that. Anyways, guys, what do you think about the Academy actually making these new rules up? Is it something that you wanted to see? Or do you think Netflix was got the shaft there? Leave me your thoughts down in the comments, and I'm going to get back to everybody.